Okay, welcome back. All right, in this video, let's talk about rendering multiple components, okay? So there's a couple of little things that you need to know here. First things first, let's say I want to render more than one button here. If I just copy this and I paste it, oh, I'm in error city, man. This is something that you have to be aware of. Essentially, uh, when you're returning uh, your value here, you can only return one component, one singular component. And it might seem like that's a little weird, but I mean, you can think about it like this function is returning a value of some kind. And so it needs to be a singular value of some kind that can be returned in kind of JavaScript. Now, there's easy way around this, right? What we can do here is we can wrap this, for example, in a div, just as if it were HTML, and I'll use Control-Alt-L there to reformat my code. And so now we essentially are just returning this div, and then our two components live inside of this div. And so we're just returning this component right here, okay? And so this is completely okay. Now, there's a little trick to here. Let's say we didn't actually want there to be a div wrapper around these two for whatever reason. What you can do is you can just have an empty tag here, like so. And essentially, this will just return. When this ends up rendering here, let's actually go take a look at this. Let's put the div in here first, and then we'll go look at and show the difference, right? Okay, so we have these two cool buttons, and I'm going to inspect this. And then, so here's our root. And we talked about this earlier. That's where it's going to start. It's going to put all our React code into. And then we have this div, and then we have two buttons inside of it, right? Now, if we take this away like so, and we come back here, we're going to see that that element is now gone, and we still were able to return both of our buttons here. Very cool. So depending on how you need to wrap multiple components together in order to return them, and this is a very common thing that you do, you build a bunch of small components, okay? And then you put all these small components together into usually larger components, right? And so it's very common to have some component made out of many smaller components and then to wrap them together like this. So it's just something that's important to know. Now, let's say, for example, we want to return a list of components. Now that's a slightly different scenario here. So let's say we just want to create this is not gonna work the best. Let's come back to my buttons here and let's export this interface as, I'm just gonna rename it to my button props here, just for the sake of a little ease of use here. I'm going to create a number A of buttons here, and they're going to be of type my button props, like so, and it's going to be an array of them, like so. And then, so we have some text, and this will be button 1, and we'll have a variant, and it'll be success. If you're wondering where I'm getting this success from, again, we're looking at the button documentation in React Bootstrap. Success is going to be green, usually, in almost every Bootstrap theme. And then, for example, warning is going to be yellow, and danger is going to be red, and info is this kind of blue. So let's just go ahead and create these two buttons. We'll call this button 1 and button 2, like so. And so one will be success, and one will be, we'll call this one warning, right? This will be a warning button. So this one will be green, and this one will be yellow. And then just for the sake of doing it, let's make a third button. And let's just make it info, and it'll be kind of that light blue color, like so. Now, let's say we wanted to render, and this is one of the powers of Bootstrap. It allows you to React is we can set up a Java or a variable like this, and this is a const, so it should be probably like this.
Oh.
But however you want to write it, I've worked on projects where a const is always uppercase. That's usually my convention. But I've worked on other projects where people don't always follow every convention you think that they're going to follow, right? And so it might be wrote in a different way. Let's say we want to dynamically create 3 different buttons here. So this is pretty simple. What we can use is a basic map function on this. So we can use button. We create a closure first, right? We need to execute code inside of this closure. And then so buttons.map. And so it's going to take some kind of callback function. And generally, I just write a callback function like these. A v for value, the value of whatever it is. And then we're going to use a basic arrow function here. And then we want to create return my button like so. And then rather than passing in the string like button2, for example, we can just pass in the v.text. And then this will just be v.variant like so. Okay, and then we're just going to save that and it'll automatically reformat it for me. And then let's go take a look at it. And here you go, we have 3 buttons, button 1, button 2, button 3.